everyone. Here we are. It is Spotlight and it's Monday. Normally we're here on a Thursday. However, things happened and we're here on a Monday. And so, hello, everyone. Welcome. And we have Irina here. She is someone I met about, what is it, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah,
Can that be? No,
into
a year and a half ago in Tallinn.
June of 23.
2023. Yeah, there we go. Yes. So a year and a half ago in Tallinn, Estonia. And I remember the first time I saw you, and we were outside at this restaurant where there were a lot of random people that none of us knew each other. And there you were, and you just made me and everybody else smile. And just by being you. And I think that's what a gift you have. And
Thank you.
yes, I mean, that's the first thing I remember is sitting outside at that table and you're just smiling and you have this beautiful energy. And that's why also I want you to, to tell people, listeners, and who people who are watching, like, who are you and what do you do? And yes, then we go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Paula. And it was wonderful meeting you as well. In the town where we didn't know anybody, and for us to connect, it was incredible.
Hmm.
Um, my name is Irina Shehovsov. I am a transformational coach, podcast host, a YouTuber, a book author, and I help women recover after breakup, separation, and divorce. I help them feel alive by combining physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual states by healing them from inside out.
That is awesome. So tell everyone, I mean, I know a little bit about your story, but where do you come from? And like what have been the pivotal moments from your life that have helped you discover like this is where my power is helping others who are going through separation, divorce, and a lot of single parents, right? So you've come to this point where you're really helping others walk through their path and when it's really hard.
Yeah, so I became a single parent myself to a newborn and a 5 year old, and this was back 10 and a half years ago. And I was living in the miserable state of being. I was discovering what new normal is. I had suicidal thoughts because I didn't know what was the purpose of living because everything was so bad and dark and miserable. And for a year, I was waiting for somebody to come help rescue me because but nobody was coming. I had a sense of loss of identity because I was someone else's mom, someone else's spouse, but I didn't know who I was any longer. And I needed to rediscover who that person was. And the breaking point was one day I was standing on a platform of a train, missing my train by mere seconds. And I started sobbing and crying because I felt like I was rushing every single day while I didn't feel like I was living. Every day seemed to be monotone, to be the same exactly as the day of yesterday. And there was no bright moment in it. It was just repetition, struggle, suffering, and rushing. And I was tired of that. I was done with that. I wanted to discover that there was something different. I didn't know what, but however I was living wasn't working, and I wanted to change. And so that started my point of recovery, getting together pieces of myself and rediscovering who I am. And my first process happened in physical body. I started taking care of my physical health, then emotional, mental, and spiritual. And little by little, I was able to put pieces of myself back together. The greatest thing I've done for myself was getting a voice coach and learning how to sing so that I could sing what I couldn't speak. I also joined Toastmasters that allowed me to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then what happened in Phoenix, Arizona, in September 2019, I met Evan Carmichael, who inspired me, who said, there is not enough belief in this world today, and you should help somebody who is a step behind you. And this is the women who I wanted to help, women who felt lost after a long term relationship, after dedicating their life to their family, after being somebody else for others, who are they now to themselves. I wanted to help those women rediscover who they are. I want them to be happy again, because happiness is possible. We didn't come here to suffer. We came here to have an experience, and we could have the best possible experience if we allow ourselves to get there. And then in 2020, single parent success stories started. I also joined Brandon Bouchard Mastermind, and through the mastermind, I met some incredible people who kind of enabled me on the path that I was building. And I got in a coach. I built an online course called Happiness Academy, where I took people through the stages of how I recovered myself in those four areas: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, to rediscover happiness from the inside. I started the podcast for single parents. And I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know anything about media. I just was inspired. I had an idea uh, of interviewing single parents. A fellow masterminder was interviewing entrepreneurs and studying their journeys. I said, what a great idea. I want to speak to single parents who've been there, done that. And that's how the podcast started. And we are entering our year 5. And it's been incredible. And Paula has been on the podcast as well. And it's been amazing what I was able to learn and speak to so many people from all across the world, from different walks of life. It's been really, really amazing. And as a result of the podcast, I got to realize my dream of becoming an author as well. So that has been a blessing. And then on my quest of healing people from inside out for mindset, I went and I studied neuro linguistic programming.
Mhm.
It's like a manual for your mind. For wellness, I went and studied Mind Valley coaching, hollow body wellness coaching, which is about movement, health, and wellness. And then 10x fitness for physical health, to have strong muscles and have longevity in the end of the day. Uh, what else happened? Then I also started a second podcast called Reclaim Your Life with Irina, where I speak to people who were dealt difficult set of situations, but they were able to overcome it. They were able to come out better on the other side. Uh, so that's it.
Oh,
And
wow.
most recently, I published my first solo book, which is called The Gift Inside: 12 Steps to Rediscovering, to Healing Happiness, sorry, to heal unworthiness, brokenness, and victim mentality so that you can find your happy. So that has been my journey. There has been a lot of lessons
Mhm.
through Mind Valley, through Brandon Bouchard, and a lot of different mentors throughout the years, and
Mhm.
books and personal development. Personal development was the thing that helped me in my journey.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally resonate. And yes, we've known each other for a little bit, and I was on your podcast and we've talked, and a lot of that is it resonates so much because, and it is your journey that has opened you up, and I think we're all kind of on this journey of personal development, whether we are consciously in it or not. We do, right? We are developing it, even if we want everything to stay the same. Well, it's not how life happens, right? It's always moving, it's always developing. And yes, whether we want it or not, we are personally also developing. And so I think there's so much power in consciously saying, okay, I really want to, dedicate some time and energy for my own development. So I can actually develop into a direction that I want to develop into, right? That's exactly what you're also guiding people in transformation. And how do you implement, or how do you include the spiritual side into this package?
So spiritual is not necessarily religious, but it is finding your purpose, finding your core values, finding what makes you who you are. We
Mm-hmm.
all have unique set of gifts and talents, and when we know of them, when we know what our core values are, life becomes more enlivening when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the things that resonate with you, as opposed to doing what society tells you to do, or being the person who your parents want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
But discovering your own thing. There is a Japanese concept called ikigai: discovering, what you're good at, what people need, what you're passionate about, and what you can get paid for, and finding that sweet spot I think it's the intersection that can allow us to create different ideas about ourselves and follow the life that we here came here to create. We
Hmm.
all have a gift inside of us, and it is up to us to discover it and share it with the world.
Mm. And one
And
of your,
another,
yeah, I was wanted to say one of your gifts is that of singing.
yes, yes,
It is a passion of yours, right? I mean, it is a passion of yours. You actually then have taken voice lessons, and you've, and not just, you know, literally bringing out your voice, but I think that also has probably done a lot for you from the inside out to be able to express yourself in a way where you feel like you are free to do it, right? So is that
totally.
something that you would, I mean, I have to say from my side, it is a big deal for me to go, and if I would now say, okay, I'm going to start taking voice lessons. It's a kind of like a huge hurdle. I don't know. Maybe now I'm older, I wouldn't care so much. But the younger I was thinking, oh my goodness, I could never, ever, ever sing in front of other people. Like, and even a voice teacher who is definitely not there to judge you and all, actually there to help you. But what would you say, like, to people who are like maybe a little bit intrigued, maybe a little bit, well, that sounds kind of interesting. Like, what would you say to those people?
I say try it out. But in your case, weren't you a performer? Weren't you a dancer and you performed in front of other people? So you have that in you.
Yes,
It's
but
not,
as a dancer, you don't really open like you know, it's your
you
body.
show so much more of you, not just your voice. You show your whole body.
Yeah, but you don't open like you don't say anything. That's the thing.
I
You know,
think
I've gotten braver now, but
I think anybody can sing if they allow themselves. Of course, we don't start out great. I sucked when I started, but it's repetition. It is learning more about it and practicing. That's what makes it better.
now what do you think? Like, for I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Now we'll see what happens. Maybe this year I will go and take a voice lesson. I don't know, but what do you think that is there was there something that physically, for example, happened to you? I know that there's a lot of breathing techniques and a lot of knowing where your sound is being produced and how does it come and all the different sounds. I mean, there's so much into this. I watched one YouTube video. That's my information source, but I know there's so much to it. That how did it happen to you? Like physically, did you feel different once you started to get a hold of or a grasp of how you produce that kind of voice?
Yes, totally. With me, what happened when I was taking lessons, I was only doing the lessons with the teacher, but I didn't practice so much at home. So I yes, I did notice a little bit of improvement because one thing is for my work, I use a lot of my analytical side, and here I was able to use my creative side. So that was incredible, kind of have a whole brain connectedness when you utilize both sides. But then what happened after I stopped taking lessons? I started, how you call it, practicing at home on a daily basis, and then I noticed the greatest improvement
Mm,
because when we do something continuously, day in and day out, then you notice the change and you can hear it. Like I can bring up how I used to sing when I started versus how I sing now. It's completely two separate people, not
mm,
related to each other. I think I call it something inside of you opens up. You find, how they say you can find your voice. I think you find your voice because you're going inside.
mhm,
You discover different depths, different parameters inside yourself that you didn't know you had. Like,
mhm,
who am I to sing? Who is gonna listen to me sing? In any endeavor, I think when you start, you have the little bit of an imposter syndrome. But what makes it interesting is keeping your curiosity open and keeping that alive and trying different things. You're not gonna be perfect when you start, but you're definitely gonna get better as you improve, as you get better by practicing day in and day out. How they say you have to put in 10,000 hours to be able to master a skill.
mhm.
So studying and being on that journey of doing that, I think it's incredible. A little
Yes,
by little, you would improve.
exactly. And so two things that I picked up there, which is also something that I mean, I in my daily work, I do work with athletes and also with performers on stage, is consistency and curiosity. Those two things that are so important, especially at first, you have to stay curious about yourself, right? Like you said, you find all these different depths and parameters, and your it's like maybe your parameters probably get wider, and um, some walls are burst open. They don't exist anymore because you are consistently staying on it, right? And I think that can be very much transferred to so many other things. The little things make a difference if you stay consistent, if you stay open in your mind and your heart to just being curious about what could happen, like experimenting. That's beautiful. And I bet that's what probably one of the things that you also, when you're coaching people who are going through transitions and big changes, like, yeah, a separation or divorce or any other huge thing in life, that's probably two of the things that come into that play, right?
Yes, I also believe in hobbies. I believe through hobbies we find a passion, we find who we are. So one of the components that I do teach is practicing your hobbies, whatever it is for you. You don't have to sing if it's not your thing, but you can do other things. You can do art, you can do Pilates, you can do anything. Maybe you always wanted to try something, but you were saying, "Oh, I don't have time," or
Mm,
"I'm too old," or this or that. Now is the time. It's never too late to start. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, if you are poor, if you are rich. It doesn't matter. It is all that matters is that you have the curiosity, you have the ideas to try and go try that. What are you waiting for? What do you have to lose? And if
mm,
something doesn't work out, let's say you tried this particular thing that you always wanted, give yourself at least 7 days to try it out, see how it is. And if it didn't click, it didn't resonate, drop that thing, try something else.
mm-hmm,
You know, when we were little, we were always curious about life. We were curious even when we started learning how to walk. We didn't give up until we succeeded. We didn't have that idea of giving up. We were curious to find, we were so excited about the world. We wanted to find, what that corner is or what that room is. So
mm-hmm,
that idea kept us going. And the fact that we got up and we fall down and we sit and we wait, in my case, my parents told me that I would sit and I wait until somebody comes picks me up so I can try again. But we never gave up. We kept on falling, we kept on getting up, we kept on going until we got into the destination, until we mastered that skill of walking. And I think as adults, we lose that ability, that natural curiosity, that
mm-hmm,
ability because of how life stresses us, how events unfold, our past. If, let's say, we had a lot of failure in the past or a lot of things that didn't work out, it becomes very difficult for us to keep remaining curious. We become cautious. We start thinking, what's the worst that could happen? What if
mm-hmm,
it's even worse than I have now? So we refuse to change. So we
mm-hmm,
gotta, flip that script. We gotta remember how we were kids and how we were curious and explore. Life could be an adventure if we allow it to be. If we
mm-hmm,
see it a little bit differently. Nothing like, you said, life happens for us, it doesn't happen to us.
mm-hmm.
So sometimes when something bad happens, and when you have something good, you gotta let go of something good to create something great in your life.
Exactly. Oh, that's beautifully said. Exactly. And oh, it's a constant movement, right? Life never stops. We even if we want things to stay the same and not to change, but it just doesn't happen that way, right?
That's right.
And so I think I see always life as this adventure, and I try my best to also, even in the hard days, to see, okay, well, this is just a part of this adventure, and I'm still know where I'm going. And I'm really glad that you are here and you're telling your story and that you are encouraging and helping others move through and, find that curiosity within themselves and start experimenting and, finding joy in a lot of things that you don't even know about, right?
That's
in
right.
in the unknown. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it. So where can people find you now if listening, watching this, and they would love to get in touch with you?
I am on Instagram at ria.claimyourlife. On LinkedIn, it's Irina.Shehovsov. On YouTube, it's Happiness Academy underscore. Then there are podcasts, Single Parent Success Stories, and Reclaim Your Life with Irina, available on all the podcasting platforms. And my books are on either on my website, which is irinashehovsov.com, or on Amazon.
I'm writing.com. I hope I spelled it right. Is it right?
It's not the. I'll do it on my side.
Okay, great. So we'll take this one out. Oh, well, I can't take it out. But anyway, follow Irina's own. I know your last name, but it's always there we go. Thank you. Okay,
Sure.
let me put this here. I'm gonna copy and paste it, and there we go. Now we got the right address. So this is the your internet address, and yes, please anybody get in touch with Irina and read the book, listen to the podcasts, and yes, let Irina bring a smile to your face, like she has and she continues to bring to my face. So I hope you really enjoyed this. If you have been listening, watching, please comment, say whatever comes to your mind and what is something that maybe resonated with you from this episode. And I look forward to reading from you, from hearing from you. And next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, will be the next one of Spotlight. We'll have another guest. So looking forward to that. And thank you so much, Irina, for being here with me. And yes,
Thank you, Paula. It's been a pleasure.
yes, likewise. And